The video you're about to see first aired on the Chat Sports YouTube channel, but this is your NFL Draft headquarters. Daily videos from all the different Chat Sports channels and some original content, of course, as well. With the NFL Combine just around the corner, you don't want to miss out. Make sure you are subscribed right now. We are taking a look at another updated 2024 NFL Draft Big Board from Mel Kiper. Seems like he updates it every week, at least some minor changes. Let's break down what those were. First off, no change at number 1. Caleb Williams, still his top-rated player. I get it. I think there are some concerns you may or may not have from that perspective, but it's an intriguing destination, intriguing option. There's upside, downside. Quarterbacks get some boost. I get it. My number 1 guy is Marvin Harrison Jr. He's number 2 on Mel's big board. Bigger than his dad was. He is a special talent. I would have no complaints if other people have him number 1 on their boards as well. Now, the NFL Combine is just around the corner. Like the video if you want us to go to the Combine this year. The credentials not been approved yet from the bosses, so we might need your help a little bit there. Like the video if you want us to go to the Combine and give you guys some extra coverage from Indy. Jayden Daniels is now number 3 on Mel's big board. That's was a change a couple weeks ago. Why we're making changes from quarterbacks, when they weren't at the Senior Bowl and nothing changed in between, I don't really know. But it's fine. You can always add new information. Maybe you're hearing different things there. I like Daniels. I got a first-round grade on him. He is not my number 2 quarterback, though. Odunze is number 4 out of Washington. Odunze, excuse me. Bigger body, really good football player. Mel also does not update these rankings because he keeps saying, or his descriptions of them, he kind of forgets to. I have a top 15 grade on him now. Well, he's 4th, Mel. Which one is it? Not to be mean, but I'm reading it, so come on. But Odunze is not as good as Harrison. He is also not my number 2 wide receiver. So stay tuned for that. All right, number 5, my number 2 quarterback is Drake Maye. I get some Justin Herbert vibes. He's not a perfect prospect either. I'm not even sure it's the same, people say, he's got a higher ceiling than Caleb Williams does. I don't know if that's actually true. But there are a lot of things about Maye, and Daniels offers you so much electric playmaking that I at least get the appeal of Daniels, even though he's more of QB3 than QB2 for me. Last year's class, previous classes, different conversation. Not last class. I meant the year before last year led by Kenny Pickett, because Young and Stroud were great prospects. But of these 2 guys, pick a quarterback. JD for Jayden Daniels, DM for Drake Maye. Who would you rather have as your quarterback? It's the pinned comment on today's video. If the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Malik Nabers, number 6. I love his game. I crave explosive plays, and that's all he does is generate big plays. LSU has a fantastic track record of getting big production out of wide receivers in the NFL. As a prospect, Nabers is right there with some of the other guys. Now, it's not to say he's going to be as good as Justin Jefferson has been or peak Odell Beckham, but as a prospect, there are some similarities. All right, number 7 is Brock Bowers. The tight end value is a potential red flag, but you don't see that level of production and athletic ability from most tight ends. The dude was taking jet sweep handoffs for touchdowns. That's super rare. Number 8, Joe Alt. This one's kind of easy. He's not, his dad was also an NFL tackle, kind of like Marvin Harrison's dad was a great NFL pro. He's going to be a great left tackle for many years. Joe Alt and Fashanu, who's number 9, by the way, on Mel's big board. Tackle 1A, 1B. Order them however you want to. If Fashanu had turned pro last year, I thought he would have been the first tackle taken. I don't think he was actually as good this year, but it wasn't bad either. He's a damn good football player. Finally, a defensive player on the list. Yeah, it took this long. Dallas Turner. He had the breakout year when he wasn't going up against Will Anderson opposite him and taking away some pressures and stuff there. Turner is not as good as Will Anderson. We've seen how good he was in year 1 in the NFL. but he's got really good athletic upside, maybe even more so than Anderson. Anderson was not a superstar freaky edge rusher necessarily. Turner could blow away the combine with how well he tests, which then ends up being the case. But with medical concerns around Laiatu Latu, I get Turner being the top-ranked defensive player. The NFL draft is all about hiring for a particular role, a particular fit, right? Well, for your small business, you probably need something similar. And unlike the NFL draft, you can use LinkedIn for your small business. You want to find quality professionals that are right for the role you're hiring for. That's why you need to check out LinkedIn Jobs. They have the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. It is a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the perfect place to hire people like producer Chris, who we found through LinkedIn for Chat Sports. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours, and there are 2.5 million small businesses that use LinkedIn for hiring. I'm not good at math. That's a lot of people that get a qualified candidate for their small business. LinkedIn knows that your small business is wearing a lot of hats. You might not have the time or resources to hire. They're trying and constantly finding ways to make the process easier. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. It's in the comments and the description of today's show. Now, Brian Thomas Jr., the other LSU wide receiver, is also really good. The listed at 6'4", is going to run fast. Those guys go pretty early in most cases. Great production, too, by the way. It also brings up a fair question of, LSU had 3 top 12 players. How much quarterback does the credit and the receivers get individually? Or, you know what? You saw Joe Burrow have great success in the NFL, and those receivers did too. Maybe they're all just really damn good. One of Mel's guys, number 12 here, Troy Fautanu out of Washington, compared him to Elijah Vera Tucker. 12 is early for me. He also bumped him back up 6 spots. It seems kind of like Mel had been told to kind of drop him a little bit, and then he's like, I'm still going to do it. Talking with scouts, NFL execs, etc. 12's early, but he's a very good prospect. I think he does go in round 1. Cooper DeJean at Iowa here. The leg injury, we'll see that impacts his combine timing, which kind of stunk into the season early. He's really good, though. Impressive straight line speed, some ball skills, and he'll be physical in the run game as well. Nate Wiggins won't be as physical. Cooper DeJean is listed at 6'1", Wiggins at 6'2". There's 20 pounds that DeJean has on Nate. He's a more skinny guy, but he can sink his hips. He's got the recovery speed. He's long and lanky. I've been burned by this style of corner before, but the upside is so good. Oh, look, another corner. Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. By the way, these 3 guys, and number 6 we'll get to in a second, all slid down 1 spot. Arnold offers some inside-outside flex. He actually hasn't been playing corner for that long, which is intriguing because it means he can get better. That's really fascinating to me. Laiatu Latu, number 16 here. If we ignore the medicals, he's probably at least number 10 on this board. But the neck injury got him medically disqualified at Washington. UCLA cleared him. We will know a lot more about his status post-combine. And we will get the whispers will eventually leak of how did things check out medically. Quinyon Mitchell, number 17, out of Toledo, had a great Senior Bowl. Answered some questions about how do you fare against non-Mid-American Conference wide receivers. The answer was great. Didn't allow a TD in coverage this past season. He's impactful. He's got all the things you want in a corner. Ignore the school. Damn good prospect. By the way, the more and more I watch of this cornerback class, I go not top 10. But like mid to late round 1 or the round 2, there's a lot of good options. Been a run on defensive players there. Who do you think is the best defensive player in the 2024 NFL Draft? Sound off for me in the comments section right now. Taliese Fuaga out of Oregon State next up here. I think that this scheme for Oregon State kind of minimized and made it easier from a pass protection standpoint, kind of inflated his numbers a little bit. But he's a mean mauler in the running game. If you need a right tackle, this is your guy. Jared Verse out of Florida State. Didn't have the best start to the season, but really got going late in the year. So the overall numbers look good. The game in, game out consistency was a red flag. Now, had a bit of a knee injury. That might have been the reason as opposed to the excuse, but there is enough pass rush juice here to justify a top 20 grade. J.C. Latham out of Alabama here, who I'm curious how much he weighs at the combine, because he was in the 360 range, and that might scare some Giants fans who remember Evan Neal being a bit heavy at times. But a people mover in the run game and held up pretty damn well in pass protection. I'm curious how he tests. Is he quick enough to survive in the NFL? Tyler Guyton is definitely quick enough. The issue is he needs more time. Guyton has immense upside. I think he might need a year, but a right tackle at Oklahoma, I think could play left tackle in the NFL. Only started 14 games in college, but the size and athletic ability and the flashes we've seen, those guys always get drafted super early. Now, the NFL draft is going to be here before you know it, and I am already way behind on my scouting reports. We will be covering everything you need to know, though. Hit that sub button for me right now. Darius Robinson, just a massive breakout season for Missouri. Doubled his pressure rate, doubled his sacks, nearly tripled his sacks, by the way. He had a really impressive performance for Missouri, was dominant at the Senior Bowl. I think there's a real chance he goes in round one. And if you want kind of a guy that can do some base end stuff and reduce down inside, play some 5 technique, this is your guy over those other kind of more pure outside edges. J.J. McCarthy, number 23 on this list. I do think he goes round one, and he is going to be my QB4. There is, however, significant bust potential here. Guys like Bo Nix and Penn, I think they can carve out a nice backup quarterback role. McCarthy's downside is maybe it just never fully materializes. And he's kind of out of the NFL quicker than some of those other players and doesn't, has some flame outs and some other top picks. But he's young. He's got a better arm than those guys. I think he's got better mobility than most of those guys. He's got the traits and the upside. I think the general maturity as well. I think he's going to wow at combine interviews. I really think so. But the Michigan offense wasn't exactly allowing him to showcase all those abilities consistently. And sometimes relying too much on rolling right and making plays. Boom or bust. The nice part is I don't have to make the gamble as an NFL GM. I can just lay out the boom or bust side and see if it ends up being correct or not. So should J.J. McCarthy be a first-round pick? If you say no, I get it. If you say yes, I get it. Go vote in the comment section right now. Amarius Mims, number 24 on this list out of Georgia. Fits some Tyler Guyton mold. I think he played left tackle, by the way. He played right at Georgia. He has barely played, less than a generous season's worth of snaps in his career. Was been really good out there when we've seen him. And in a kind of unique way, the lack of reps overall means a flip to left side might be easier. There's less muscle memory you kind of have to overcome, at least to a certain extent. Keon Coleman down 3 spots on the latest big board from Mel Kiper. Robinson was not ranked previously, by the way, which I get. Coleman's got some size. Not going to be a great separator. I like the prospect, though, depending on what you're looking for. Like last year's class had 2 X receivers. They were all shifty or smaller guys. This year's class, big-bodied X's galore. Coleman, one of the better ones. All right, some other prospects who were not ranked. Jordan Morgan at Arizona, very intriguing to me. 2 defensive tackles. I like Jerzon Newton and Byron Murphy a lot. When it's all said and done, I'd be a bit surprised if they weren't a top 25 or 26, 30, whatever prospect for me. Chop Robinson's traits are there. The production is not. And I am not out on Kool-Aid McKinstry quite yet. I am praying this is not my next Tease Tabor thing. where I like the guy, and people are like, he's slow, and I go, I don't know if he's that slow, and then he runs really, really bad at the combine. That's my hope. I do think it matters that teams didn't throw at Kool-Aid. They didn't want to go that way. They went Arnold instead. Kind of brought down McKinstry's ball skill production. I think he's still worth a first-round pick. Hopefully, I don't look dumb in like a month.